been long enough. Been working on this suspension, which feels like, I don't know, forever. But I think it looks pretty good. Ride height's about right. I think it looks really good. It actually fits out my tiny little door here, so that's great. It just barely rubs that roof rack on top. I went ahead, I got the bumper put on the back. I have not put the fuel tank back in, mainly because I'm running into some emergency brake issues that I'm just gonna have to work out down the line. Let's see, we need to go over our little checklist that I probably put together way months ago, so we're gonna look at this real quick. So we got shock mounts are in, front springs, high steer is installed. Let's see, we got the pulley, we haven't done it yet. Haven't done belts. Shift cable, that's done. We still need to do fuel lines. Let's see, anything else? We got to do 4x4 shifter because that was kind of a pain. All the rear suspension completely done. Evap, delete. So I've been adding to this as I've been thinking. We got trans cooler. I still have to bleed the brakes. We still got rear shock mounts and install. Their fuel tank, e-brake, measure for drive lines. Still have a pile of parts over there, which is mainly wiring, trans cool. We got that. Today we need to get back to this radiator. It's been months since I have even looked at it. So I've spent some time today and I did some grinding for clearance down in here just to gain just a tiny bit more here. I'm still hoping to put some sort of an electric fan in here if I can fit it. And I've been kind of looking over the power steering. So once I get this radiator installed, we're going to try and figure out some power steering. Oh yeah, and also I need to find the gas pedal fit. I know I said it in another video, but this little tiny pedal needs to be replaced with this monstrosity. So this is definitely something we got to tackle. Let's get to the radiator. I modified these side pieces off that radiator. I trimmed them down, I went ahead, put them in a brake and put a new bend in it. That way we can, if we need to, mount something to this. If we can put a electric fan in the inside, if there's room. That's the only reason I had to break this different. So let's we're gonna get these put back in, get that radiator slid down in there, and then I need to convert one of my welders over to aluminum. That's not too bad. Of course. Alright, so the radiator fits good. There was an issue since I had to move it way back in with the hood. It does hit up here, so I need to make sure that's not going to hit. If it does, I need to trim these side brackets down a little bit more and keep dropping this radiator down in, but there's plenty of clearance. I don't know if the radiator has a little tweak to it or what, but it looks like this side there's more gap down there, and this side, this up here is, I'm tired of my phone. Okay, try this again. Don't even know what I was talking about. Anyways, this is a direct replacement radiator for a 3.0 Toyota. I just had to modify it for this setup. That's it. So we're going to check the fitment. Didn't see the radiator move this time, which is good. Off that hood. Aha. No new mark. Alright, I'm going to get welding on this. And once this part's done, then we're going to tackle that gas pedal next. I think that's going to be the real crucial one. Got that bracket all welded in. My opinion, if you're going to get a aluminum MIG gun, Eastwood's a good welder. I don't know what's going on with this aluminum gun. I have to have my arc all the way to the max down. Wire speed cranked up pretty high, and it's still like welding with a lightning bolt. It's awful. I debated when I bought this welder to just get a TIG machine, and I thought, oh, you know, let's make it easy. Wrong. So I'm probably going to make this one my hard wire, this one my inner shield dual shield, and I'm just going to have to buy something else for aluminum because... So I am debating, because I'm pretty sure I don't need this contraption. I'm still afraid that this pedal is going to be stuck way out here, which is going to be awkward. Now that's a pretty good comparison there on the height difference. This has a bunch of leverage, so we may end up having to see if maybe this spring or something can come off. This, there's nothing to that one. Of course, that was cable. So I think I'm just going to start making sure I destroy it correctly without this being destroyed. And that worked. Too bad. I'm gonna try and take the spring off and see if it's that's gonna be pretty stiff. Well, I just had to make sure I think max stroke is this bottomed out. And that lines up about perfect. Well, I had a change of plans. This contraption won't even fit where that is. So I'm going to see if I can use this gas pedal somehow. I kind of figured out how this is going to mount. This upper screw hole on this should fit that lower screw hole like that. And then I need to weld the tab that'll come over in this space, and I'll put a thread insert right there. I also trimmed the back side of this out to clear that cable. So I'm going to get some fab work done on this, try and get this electronic piece here bolted in first, and then figure out this place. Smaller pedal I think will look nicer in there anyway. So And the finished product here. This fits good. This top hole is, come on, that's a factory bolt hole. Down here I just did an extension tack on there and a riv nut. Now we got to go see if it actually installs correctly. Well, may have to do a little trimming on the bottom of that there. And see, let's see here. That nut that I put in there, this just barely clips it. So I think I'm gonna have to get in here, take this out, and I'm just gonna grind just a touch of this off right here. And then of course, I'll trim this carpet up to where it looks nice. Nice height for the gas pedal. Yep, I'll have to do some grinding, but a little stiff, but I think it'll work. All right, I'm gonna get that touched up, and then let's see. I need to figure out what we're gonna tackle next. Try and knock out some of the small stuff. Alright, I've spent some time going over electric fan here, so I had to order a bunch of parts. We got a fan coming, we may have to do something here, not sure yet. Fuel fittings are on the way, some more pulleys, and now I'm trying to overthink. I think I'm overthinking on how to make this four-wheel drive shift. One time I was thinking of coming off of this side, coming out and using this style of push-pull cable on a clamp I just built. But now I'm going to put this back in and see if I can come off this side, because that's where the four-wheel drive shifter is. And if I can, I might be able to reuse a rod. Maybe. So I'm going to do some more investigational work. I spent a lot of time making that little clamp for that push-pull cable, thinking I could run it the other way. But I really wasn't thinking about if this comes way over here, getting this in and out might be a pain. But if I can get this over here somewhere and it doesn't interfere with this shifter, maybe I can make this work different. Alright, well, it's got to be a cable. I'll show you some issues. This cable I thought was going to work. It's only 48 inches, and I would say probably 8 to 10 inches of the end of both sides. Can't really bend them around, so I'll show you what we're up against here. Up there, really difficult to see, is the shifter for the four-wheel drive. So I could use a cable and mount it in this location, but then I'd have to wrap this cable around somehow over to this side, to the shifter that's right here. Now, being able to bring that shifter way over, I'm afraid it's going to interfere with all this. And then the leverage will end up just bending whatever I build, no matter how stout it is, because these things are, I mean, they go in okay, but it still takes quite a bit. So I think I'm still using the cable in a similar setup like this. Hard to see. But this cable needs to be just a hair longer. So I need to do some more research, see if I can find pretty much a cable just like this, because it'll work, but a little longer. This is 48 inches, which leaves about 2.5 feet to be able to like maneuver and bend, but it's like facing one direction and I have to loop it and face the other direction. And if it's not long enough, I think in the sleeve it'll bend up. So I'm gonna try and find another push-pull, maybe even like an old school winch cable, push-pull, you know, that actuates it, and see what I can come up with. So for now, we're gonna do, I need to do some measurements on the front, articulation for shocks, driveline lengths, and then we need to weld on the mounts for the rear shocks. So that's what we're doing next. All right, after lots of thinking about it, because this thing's in the way, thought about putting tubes and bars and all kinds of stuff across, but nothing really levels out. Everything's pretty bad up here. This side isn't as bad, but over this side, there's brake lines everywhere. So I came up with 2 pieces of square, I guess it's rectangle tubing. One will be leveled out right there to where I can get a little bit of a triangulation on this side. And this side, and there's an illusion here because this is thicker, tapers up. That's actually flat. The 4Runner, I don't have the jack stands level, so anyways, this will be like that. And then I got to make the mounts. I have the mounts that weld on here. That was easy, just buy those. But the upper ones I'm going to build. So I need to get this set up and start welding all this into place. And then hopefully we could take this outside, and I'm going to use the excavator to pick up the front, measure, and then pick up one tire and measure, pick up the back. I got to get all these measurements just right so we can order the correct shocks, and at the same time that'll give me a good driveline length. So I got those plates welded in. I'm not going to put the shock mounts in until I get the shocks. My luck will have them all out of whack. So I'm tired of doing things twice. We're going to get this outside. We're going to start lifting up on one corner, try and figure out what compressed shock length is, extended shock length, and then see about bump stops also. Bump stop length for the front, bump stop for the rear. I think that's it. Put a jumper pack on it, get the windows rolled up so it doesn't get wet inside while it's outside. Yeah. need rear bump stops. Fronts for sure. This is probably about as unstable as you want to get this thing. Could probably go higher. Not too bad though, doesn't rub. Lots of clearance. This side, nothing's pinched, nothing's binding. I had my doubts this would actually bind here, but it's not. We're gonna have to get bump stops, probably 6-inch bump stops for the front, probably nothing for the rear. But like I said, it's not a crawler. I think it'll do pretty good just like this. All right, I better set it down. Well, I got all the measurements I need for the 4Runner. We got to order drive lines and shocks, and there's a whole bunch of other parts I have on order, so it's going to be a couple of weeks, which is fine by me. Have another project in here that'll be on the channel here shortly. Let me know what you guys think. Give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.